Billy Mainwaring, and I'm discussing that marine mammals should not be kept in captivity. So I have three main points for why they shouldn't. First, cages cannot provide enough space for what's needed. The animals are captured in cruel ways, and there's medical conditions that go along with the animals in captivity. The cage is not being big enough. Marine mammals, typically like dolphins, sea lions, and walruses, they all live in large groups, and there's no way that enough of these animals can be in one exhibit to give them the social status that they normally have. And whales travel large distances, normally traveling hundreds of meters underwater at a time, and they only come up for air about every half hour in the wild, but when they're in captivity they're forced to be at the surface for about half their time. So that also leads to medical conditions. And capturing of animals is normally done in a very brutal way. They are either rounded up into small areas by fishermen, and they're kept there until someone decides that they want to buy the animal alive, or as you can see in the other picture, they want to buy the animal dead. So there's many reasons why that's not ethical. And the other way that it's done is there's high-speed boat chases until the animals are caught up to, and they're then wrangled, and they're held in small cages until they're able to be transported somewhere that they're wanted. Some of the medical conditions that go along with animals in captivity. There's poor oral health, which, as you can see in this picture, there's holes that are drilled into their teeth for the reason it's not really clear what the positives of this are, but there's a lot of bacteria that can get into there. And there was a SeaWorld trainer that had the quote of, "The whales are conditioned to accept the noise, heat, vibration, and obvious pain associated with drilling vertically through the tooth column and into the fleshy pulp below. Success is measured by blood spilling out of the hole, in which case it's apparent the bore is complete." So there's clearly no positives to that being done. There's also the teeth get ground down along with the jaws as they're biting on the steel cages that they're kept in, trying to show dominance over other whales. And there's collapsed fins, which you can see in the top picture, and that's done through two things: dehydration and gravity. The gravity pulls down on the fins since they're at the surface of the water all the time, and the water pressure can't help keep the fins up. And then dehydration also, because it's made out of a material that needs a high amount of water, and they normally get their hydration through eating live food. And when their food is frozen and then fed to them, they lose a lot of that material. Stress that they experience. Orcas especially, they were thought, or SeaWorld claimed, that their max lifespan was about 35 years when all of their animals were dying young, but it's been found now that they live up to 60 or 80 years in the wild. So the stress on the animals being in captivity, having the noise around them, it plays a large toll on them. And finally, breeding. These, like SeaWorld and all these places, they breed the animals claiming that it helps for the population amount, but if a whale from the Atlantic Ocean is bred with one from the Pacific Ocean, then it actually causes defects in the baby that was born, and it's unable to be released into either part of the wild. And they also claim that they breed the animals and then transport them to other places or anything like that, but that also isn't ethical, because once the animals actually reach an age where they're able to be taken away from their mothers, they're such a large size that just going through the movement is too stressful for them. And then finally, I have a little video, which you can't hear, but it's the Sarah McLachlan and Sarah McLachlan.
Whales. Whales.
He's talking about whales, not dogs. Did you voice that movie?
Whales. Whales. In the water.
as you can see, the animals are much happier when they're in the wild, opposed to in cages. So that's my argument.